Green Bay at San Francisco. And this is the only game we could discuss on Sunday night. It opened Green Bay as a 10-point underdog coming off of that demolishing of the Cowboys. And the line moved to 9.5. I'll say this right now. San Francisco, executive decision. We're doing it! Executive decision. Another big favorite. I had the Bills last week at -10. Never worried about it. I was leaning this way on Sunday night. I tried to get you to confirm that for me. You didn't quite go there. I have so many thoughts on why San Francisco is the right side here, but I'm not sure you agree with me.
No, what's funny though, if this was Aaron Rodgers, I would be. Which sounds stupid, but if you go through our history, me and Chad always fade Aaron Rodgers in this spot. It's either, even if they're at home against the 49ers team, we would always just take the 49ers against Rodgers. So, looking at this, Chad, I get where you're coming from. It's just hard for me. Like I always say all the time, it's just hard for me to back favorites. But you're probably right. This is the right spot to back this 49ers team. Not only do you have the experience, it felt like the Green Bay win last week was more about Dallas than it was about Green Bay. Even though Jordan Love did make the throws and LaFleur schemed it up incredibly and their defense did play so well, it's like, man, that was a complete, total meltdown from the whole Dallas team. Like, even their defense looked like they never played before.
No.
So you're exactly right. Like, if you're trying to, like, I wanted to be on Green Bay. Chad's right, though. If you're looking at what this number should be and where the value is, it is too low. This probably should be closer to 12 and a half. You're getting 2 free points here just because they beat quote unquote America's team in Dallas last week. So it's paining me to do, but
you agree with me?
I do agree with you.
Yeah.
I just think the number's too low. Where I really wish this was what it should be, which is closer to 12 and a half, 13. Would have loved to take Green Bay at that number, but the fact that you can still get it, a couple of books that I'm looking at, you can still get the 9.5. I don't hate it, and we talk all the time. This is going to be the game that people are going to tease together. Like, This is the move. People are going to take the 1 seeds. They're going to throw them together. And the 49ers are what, down to plus 175 to win the Super Bowl? They're the best team in football. Like, the fans, we met a couple at our show on Sunday. Like, I said, you guys should have your chest puffed out. Like, you're by far the best team. You have the best path. Now you're getting to play the 7th seed at home. Again, Dallas made history. We never saw a 7th seed beat a 2 seed before. Green Bay, they clearly should not be a 7 seed, right? They're better. Like, they're better than the Eagles. Like, no doubt. If they would have played the Eagles, I would take Green Bay.
If the season started in November instead of September, and went to February, the Eagles might not have made the playoffs, and the Packers might have been a 2 seed.
Right.
Like, that's how well they've been playing.
That's the fear.
So you think. So look, we loved the Packers on Sunday night, right? Like, we immediately were smashing the Packers at plus 7.5. 2 Sundays ago, we're like, this number doesn't make any sense. How is this number at 7.5? So we played it, and it played out exactly as we thought it would be. McCarthy, terrible coach and terrible play caller, who we knew, talk about getting tight, we knew he would get tight in that game. The defense plays too much man, and was overrated as a pass rush. So you had the polar ends, where in the high-profile spots, everyone thinks they're amazing, but they're kind of not that amazing, and their numbers were middling. They just made really high-profile plays that looked fancy, right? Meanwhile, the Niners have a better overall offense against a still suspect defense. Let me give you some games that during this streak since November, when Green Bay started to get hot, Jordan Love all of a sudden found his groove, right? That's what everyone's talking about, thinking they're so good. They lost to the Steelers. They lost to the Giants. They beat the Chiefs, but don't forget, they beat the Chiefs on a no-call pass interference that could have forced them to lose the game. They barely beat the Chargers. They gave up 33 points to the Panthers. The Panthers didn't score 33 points in the second half of the year combined, but they gave up 30 points to the Panthers. So if this were a regular season game, we would be fading this Packers team.
100%.
Because even Sean Kerner, he did projections for every team heading into the playoffs, and every game, every matchup heading into the playoffs, the projection for this game was Green Bay plus 11.5. And I was talking to Stuckey yesterday. We were in the office and we're all hanging out this weekend. And we were like, Green Bay, if not for the way they beat up on Dallas, they'd be a 12, 13-point underdog in this game. Let me give you some more stats, okay? Even though I feel like I've finally convinced you to come to my side and that we're going to be betting buddies on this. San Francisco was ranked higher than Green Bay in each of the following categories: yards per game, passing yards per game, rushing yards per game, points scored per game, third down percentage, yards allowed per game, rushing yards allowed per game, points allowed per game, third down percentage against. They have been a dominant team all season long. There's no reason not to be betting the 49ers as a favorite. Don't be fooled.
Yeah, it's just, I just hate taking big favorites, but, you nailed with all the stats there, too. And it's also 49ers at home. We talk all the time. We like backing Shanahan at home as a favorite. It's been good to us, especially the last couple of years. So, the more we talk about, the more I feel like it is a good bet. And it also feels like you should go grab that 9.5. Like, it's out there. Don't be stuck just to one book, people. We tell you all the time, you have to shop around. So I'm looking at two of the more public books. They're still hanging it, and it's only minus 115 at one book, minus 118 at the other book, the Juice. So I would go grab that before it moves to 10.
Evan just put this note into the script. The last 9 quarterbacks against the Panthers, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Don't forget, Dak lit up that defense. I know they were passing nonstop at the end of the game, but they completely lit up that defense.
Yeah, and we're also getting a 49ers defense at home that, I expect them to be able to scheme up something to stop this Jordan Love. Just because I talked about it before, LaFleur had struggled against his 49ers team in the past. Like, you can go back and look at his days with Aaron Rodgers. There's a couple times there, too. Rodgers was at home at Lambeau, favorite against his 49ers defense, and struggled. So that's just not a LaFleur thing, right? We saw Jordan Love as kind of like a carbon copy of Rodgers, throwing off bounds, throwing those sidearm passes. It's kind of the same offense. Nothing's really changed. So the fact that in the past they've struggled, we'll see if Jordan Love can take that enormous step, but I feel like he's already done it in his first season, right? Like that game with Dallas, that was it, right? They're going to be feeling so good this week. We expect a letdown. They're a young team. Like Green Bay is a young team. So Chad's right. Don't let the 10 scare you off. I would grab it now, though, because there are still 9.5s out there.
Look, it feels like the Packers can be happy with making it to the second round of the playoffs, and they're going to be like, oh, my God, this is so exciting. We have so much to build on. The Niners are not happy with anything less than winning the Super Bowl. So there's just different expectations in this game. In fact, I'm pretty sure I know what the final score is. Do you want to know what it's going to be?
Oh, God, Chad. Go ahead.
42-14. It just is. This has all the makings. I'm telling you right now.
So Chad likes the over if you're keeping track at home. Chad likes the over.
I do.